What is going on, YouTube? Right. How's everyone doing? Gotta check to make sure my hair's good. All right, we're gonna wait for some people to tune in here. Another live stream Q&A with the best people in the world, you guys. All right, Sunday morning, Los Angeles time. How's everyone doing today? Twin Tech, what's good, bro? How you doing? Yeah, guys, so for those of you who don't know, I'm starting to do live streams again. Last week's live stream did very well. People were very happy, and I'm going to pick those back up again, and we're going to answer some questions live. Twin Tech says it's Sunday night in the UK. All right, man. You got Monday tomorrow. Inspire Studios. Hey, dude, what's up? How you doing? All right, guys, so yeah, I just wanted to see if you guys had any questions for this week. I know that I've been getting a lot of emails, obviously, about the Crane 3 lab. People were freaking out because B&H was removing it off of their site, saying it was discontinued, all that stuff. So we can talk about that if you want. If you have other, dying questions, please let me know. This is your time to ask. Twin Tech says, hey, you really inspired me to get the Lab 3. Awesome, man. Yeah, you're going to love it. Let me know when you get it or if you have it already. Yeah, so I released 3 videos on the Crane 3 Lab. 5 more will be coming out. It's going to be an 8-part series. The next video on the Crane 3 Lab will be about gimbal shooting modes, the new modes that were added to the Crane 3 Lab, and just how to get to those modes. And then we're going to talk about the HD transmission system. I actually was playing around with that this week, and it was a lot of fun, so I'm going to show you how to use that. We're going to be talking about how to get the smoothest footage. We're going to be talking about the app, how to get the smoothest, how to program the gimbal properly, how to make it perform the best. So there's just so many things that we're going to talk about in these next 5 videos. So if you are thinking about the Crane 3 Lab, or if you already have the Crane 3 Lab, those videos are the ones for you to watch, for sure. Okay, I was just about to ask you that, LOL, when is it officially being released? So Amazon already released it. I don't know what's happening with B&H. The Crane 3 Lab is officially released. You can go out and buy it on Amazon. There must be some sort of communication error between B&H and Jewin. I don't know what it is, but I talked to some of the marketing people at Jewin, and they said we're confused ourselves. So I think that, right now they're on Chinese holiday until the 13th. So let them get back on the 13th. They got to get on a call or some meeting with B&H and figure out what's going on. But Amazon, no issues with Amazon. Amazon already has them in stock, and they're ready to ship. Do I think that the Crane 3 Lab is better than the Moza Air 2? I don't have the Moza Air 2, so I can't give you my opinion on that. Twin Tech says, I'm getting it next week, hopefully. You think you could carry my Sigma 105 mil 1.4? It's really heavy. Yeah, it can. It definitely can. If it can carry this big boy, my G Master 70 to 200, 2.8, with a cage and a Sony A9, yeah. It can. And I'll show you, if you guys want, I'll show you how to balance this lens on the Crane 3 Lab as well. This is my largest lens that I own. I might be getting a 400 mil in the future. I don't know. Usually 400 mils for like nature photography, which is something I don't do. But maybe I can get it as like a rental just to show you guys how to balance it. But yeah, that's the 200, 70 to 200 2.8 G Master. Lost my train of thought for a second. How does it compare to the Ronin S? Call me biased, call me whatever you want. It is a better gimbal. And I'm going to lay down with fact. Some people, the Ronin S may be better for. The Crane 3 Lab, it just has more features. Has a slightly higher payload, and it has more features than the Ronin S. The Ronin S, compared to the Crane 3, is outdated. The only reason why you would probably want the Ronin S is because you're you love DJI and you want everything to be DJI. I'm like that with Apple. I want everything, all my computers, my watch, my phone to be Apple. So if you're obsessed with DJI and you want to continue with DJI, you have all their drones and, but when it comes down to the overall gimbal itself and what it can do for you, the Crane 3 Lab is better. I will be making a comparison video. As I said earlier in my other comparison videos with the Ronin S, Juin has the best algorithms for stability. And I have proof of this on my comparison videos between the Crane 2 and the Ronin S. And I compared it to the Feiyutech A2000. And I haven't compared it to Moza yet. But if you guys, I haven't had a huge demand to compare it with Moza. So I have the Moza Air still. It's packed up. But if you want me to compare it with Moza's gimbals, let me know. Maybe I'll get a Moza Air 2 and compare it. But so far, out of all the gimbals I've owned, Juin has been the best with its stability. Even at telephoto lenses, as I mentioned, I balance the 70 to 200. I use my main telephoto lens that I love to use on gimbals is an 85mm 1.8. And that's like my ultimate gimbal test. I put that lens on the camera and I see how it behaves with just how steady it is. Usually with gimbals, I mentioned this in my last live stream, the biggest issue with gimbals right now when you put a very narrow lens, it's very difficult for the gimbal to keep the camera straight. Instead, when you walk, it's going to do this. You can't see it with your eyes, but that's actually what's happening. Sometimes the gimbal just can't be consistent with its pan. It can't keep the camera straight. So what happens is, because you're using such a narrow lens, you're going to easily see that in your footage. You're going to see this. So it's going to be bouncing from left to right. And that's what happened with the Ronin S. And that's very clearly what happened with the Feiyutech A2000. The Feiyutech A2000 had that issue the most. And then after that, it was the Ronin S. But yeah. But then again, a lot of you won't use a telephoto on your gimbal. I, for one, love using telephoto on a gimbal. Even though you don't see much movement, you still have the ability to use it for tracking. Like if you have a really serious dialogue between two people and you want to track them and have them walk, you don't really want to see too much movement because it takes away from the dialogue. It takes away from your subject. So you want to focus on the subject, but have them maybe walk or something like that. But you will see very, very little movement in the back. And don't forget, because you're using a narrow lens, like the 85 1.8, you're going to get a very shallow depth of field. So everything's going to be blurred out in the back. So you're going to see very little movement, and that little movement does a lot, believe it or not. So try out a telephoto lens on a gimbal. Hey, don't even take my word for it. Go to any camera store, take your telephoto lens, put it on a Ronin S, put it on a Crane 3, put it on a Moza Air, and try it out for yourself, and you'll see the difference between all of those gimbals. You're going to see the consistency issues of some gimbals, and you're going to see better results on other gimbals. So that's how you test a gimbal. You slap on a telephoto lens and see how it behaves. That's just the best way to test out a gimbal. And then, so the Crane 2 won in that regard. It won. It beat all the other gimbals when it came down to using a telephoto lens. With the Crane 3, I haven't tested it. I haven't tested out. I haven't tested it the way I tested the Crane 2 because I'm still producing more videos and more content on it. So far, I haven't run into any issues. I was actually shooting with a 24 to 70 G Master. I have it back there on the shelf that I'm renting right now. And it did very well. Even all the way zoomed out, did very well. And that's a pretty heavy lens. So I was very happy with it. At the 70mm focal length, I didn't see any bumps. So far the Crane 3 Lab, very good. I'm much more excited, rather than the stability portion, I'm much more excited to use the zoom servo and the follow focus servo and the HD transmission. That's like, those are like, that's the icing on the cake. That's what makes this gimbal better than anything else. It's the perks. It's not necessarily the gimbal itself, but it's what you get with the gimbal that makes it better. So consider that. I mean, I think people don't look at features as much as they should. Features are everything. You need to have the convenience factor. You need to have those features. Stability obviously comes first, but then you should also be looking at features. All right, let's answer some questions here. I'm going to scroll back up. Do you shoot weddings nowadays? No, I can't stand shooting weddings. I've shot 2 weddings, and I absolutely hated the experience because it's one of those things. It's just something I'm not really good at or fond of. I mean, even if the shots do come out good, it's just the amount of pressure and stress that you have to go through. It's just I never had a good experience shooting a wedding, and I'm more of a I like fitness video shoots. You know, I like product shoots. Weddings, ugh, for me, it's just not a great thing for me. But for those of you who don't mind working under clients who can be very, very demanding and most of the times unreasonable, go for it. But my biggest issue with weddings was audio. And usually wedding videographers have like 3 backups of audio. And for me to do that all on my own is just, it's a headache. So I feel like if you want to do really good wedding videos, have a team of people, maybe 3 people. One that focuses on audio, and then a camera A and a camera B. And then you should be good. So if you decide to shoot weddings and you want to charge a lot, and you easily will charge a lot, because most people who have a wedding rarely have, you know, a budget set for video or photography. They want the best because it's a once in a lifetime experience. So you can charge a lot of money for weddings, but don't go at it by yourself. Have a team. Have one guy specifically focused on audio, because audio at times can be more important than video during a wedding. Because with video, you can overlay. With audio, you can't really do that. If someone's saying their vows, you can't really lose audio during that moment. But if you lose video, you can maybe cut to another camera. You can cut to maybe a B-roll shot of the audience, but you can't do that with audio. Audio has to maintain consistency throughout the whole entire shoot. You cannot lose audio. So audio is numero uno on a wedding shoot. And if you're not good with audio, don't even consider shooting a wedding video. Don't even consider it. That's why I suggest hiring a person dedicated to just audio, and then you'll be fine. I never found that that audio person, which is why I didn't continue doing weddings. But it's just I'd rather have full control of what I'm doing, because I'll be the only person to blame if something goes wrong. But if you really do want to focus on weddings, again, get a team of people, 3 people, up to 5 people. Don't have too many cooks in the kitchen, as they always say, but I think 3 people is really good. Camera A, camera B, and audio, and you should be fine. All right. Will the Lab 3 be compatible with the EOS R? Yes, it will. Jabara Tech says, by the way, I would like to see seesaw footage of the Ronin S. I don't think it's as steady as I would like. Okay. Twin Tech says, I just got my Ronin S. I was disappointed and struggling with my Sigma 105 and Sony A77. Like, it can balance a bit, but not so good. Also, it can do some features when this load like rotation. Yeah. So Ronin S, 8-pound payload, Crane 3 Lab, 10-pound payload. That 2 pounds is quite a lot. You're gonna get more torque out of the motors. What about the AK2000 and the 4000? So Fadetech released 2 new gimbals, AK2000 and 4000. Haven't tested them out. Have not tested them out. I will be at NAB this year, and I will be testing out every single piece of gear that I can get my hands on. So stay tuned for that. Rick says, I was tossed between the Crane 3 and the Moza Air 2, but ended up buying the Moza Air 2 to go with my Nikon Z6 and Ninja 5. Awesome. Jerry Reed says, hey, question. When using a gimbal, should you also use the stabilizing in your lens or turn it off? It depends what focal length you're on. If you're at a very narrow focal length, like maybe a 105 or an 85, turn every single form of stabilization off. Your IBIS and your OSS, turn that off. OIS, that's what I meant, optical image stabilization. Turn that off and turn off IBIS, because at that point, your camera is going to want to do its own little movements of the sensor, and the elements in your lens are going to want to do its own little things too. So it's going to be magnified when you're using a telephoto lens. Okay, all those little movements that your sensor wants to compensate for, or your lens wants to compensate for, it's going to go most of the time the opposite direction of the movement that you're trying to achieve with your gimbal. So turn that off. Only turn it on if you're shooting wide. So 16, 24, and even up to 35, you can have IBIS and OIS turned on. That's perfectly fine. But as soon as you start going to the 50, 85, 100, that type of range lenses, turn it off, because you may not even see it within your camera, but once you put it on a big screen, you're going to see a lot of unwanted and ugly movements. I've experienced that so much. So it has its wins and it has its losses. Okay, so next question here. Let's see what we got. I love DJI, but they released the Air, which it came out with the best. All YouTubers say it was Mavic 2 Pro and the best you feel. I love my Mavic 2 Pro. Have I flown it recently? No. I don't know if you guys noticed, but it's been raining for like 3 weeks straight in Los Angeles, so I haven't. Honestly, since I bought my Mavic 2 Pro, I have probably flown it maybe 5 times. I need to start flying it a lot more. Okay, what's your opinion on the Sony Zeiss 24 to 70 f4 as the main lens for wedding compared to the Tamron 28 to 75? Is the Zeiss sharp? Is the bokeh good enough? I'll use it on the A7 III. So where's my 24 to 70? Hang on 1 second. Let me go grab it. So I have these two here. So here we go. So here's my 24 to 70 on my A9. This is the f4. And here is 24 to 70 G Master 2.8. Okay. So I have both of those lenses. This one's a rental. Okay. This is, by the way, a rental company, Magnanimous Media, they sent me this lens to review. Great guys. And if you want to get some really reliable rentals that have a lot of gear, boom, Magnanimous Media. I'm gonna do a video on this lens. So really nice guys. But yeah, so is the 24 to 70 f4 sharp? Yes, it's hella sharp. Through my testing though, I did find that the 24 to 70 G Master is sharper, especially when it comes down to a wider open aperture. At 2.8, it's hella sharp, man. And the bokeh you get out of this lens is it's so much shallower than compared to the 24 to 70 f4 Zeiss. It's much shallower. And if that's the type of look you want, which I love that look, then get it. Even at the 24, the widest this lens can go, it does shallow depth of field. And you know what? The f4 does too, but it's just not as shallow. Where this lens wins is that shallow depth of field, and it's sharper. Where it loses is the weight. I mean, look at the size of these lenses. I mean, that's just like, it's a pretty big difference. I mean, has a larger aperture, so it's going to have a wider lens body. It's going to have a larger lens body. So I own my f4 Zeiss, and I've used it so many times. I also have a 16 to 35 Zeiss right here. I love Zeiss glass. I mean, you really can't beat Zeiss, especially for the money. I don't think you're going to get a better lens than Zeiss. And the fact that it's a native lens for Sony cameras, that's just another perk. You're going to get the full power of your camera's focus abilities with native glass. I also have another G Master that I own. This lens, I absolutely love it. I don't use it as much as I should, but this is the 70 to 200 2.8 G Master. For all of the like macro shots that I need to get, for all those really close-up shots that I need of like certain products that I review, this is the lens that I turn to because this thing captures so many details because it's so freaking sharp. I mean, I try to shoot the same shots with my 24-70 f4, but it's not as sharp and as pretty as the G Master. This thing creates such beautiful shots. Like, I am ecstatic about this lens. It's heavy as hell, built like a tank, and I don't know why it's white. I would have liked this to be a black lens, but you know, what can you do? But that's the G Master. If you guys know why they painted it white, please let me know, but I don't know why it's white. Canon did the same thing. All right, next question here. Hey, have you ever seen well, okay. Hey there, just noticed that night. Hey, Mauro's Films, what's up, dude? Hi there, I'm wanting to spend $6 grand on a new camera, but I just don't know what to buy at this point in time. You want to spend $6 grand on a camera? Dude, you don't have to spend all of that on a camera. Get a Blackmagic Pocket, right? And then spend the rest on glass. Done. Done. You don't have to spend all $6K on a camera. Get a Blackmagic Pocket. If you want to do short films, Pocket. Get the Pocket, and then spend the rest on lenses. Done. And then you're set. You have your kit. I'm unsure how long to make each segment in my dog training video for mild punishment. Okay, great. We have a troll here that's saying really weird things. Jesus. Okay. What do you think about the Zeiss 25 f2 versus the 24 1.4? I've seen them at, what was it? Photokina, I believe. Was it Photokina or CES? I mean, I love them. I don't have enough experience to really give you a solid opinion. I need to have the lens. I can tell you to go buy it. Yeah, sure. But I want to be upfront and honest with you and tell you that I don't have experience with those lenses. I played with it maybe 5-10 minutes at the booth. That's it. So I need more time. I need weeks with a lens, at least, to even state a solid opinion. Is the contrast on the Zeiss better than the G Master because of the coating? Well, all these questions are good. Did you test the Zeiss 24 f4 and the Tamron 28-75? Guess to sticking native glass is better, right? So yeah, I didn't touch Tamron. I haven't touched any Tamron glass in all of my life, so I know nothing about Tamron. I know Sigma, but Tamron I know nothing of. Contrast, to be honest, I really didn't notice. I didn't really notice or focus on the contrast of these lenses. I just really focused on the sharpness and the color reproduction, which honestly was very similar. It was very similar. But the sharpness, I mean, I felt like the G Master did a better job. It did a better job. Sometimes with my 24, very rare occasions, when I'm out at the 24 focal length, I can see a little bit of blurriness on the corners, a little bit of distortion. But the G Master doesn't have any of that. It really doesn't. Okay. I never managed to balance my Flycam HD 4000. I managed to balance it within 2.5 second drop time test, but it is always leaning right or left when I use it. Okay, send me some videos. Momentum_productions, DM me on Instagram. I'll help you out there. Okay, that way we can have a one-on-one thing. So yeah, guys, check out my Instagram. DM me with questions. That's the best way to get in touch with me. Email is okay, but sometimes I have like all these emails coming in and I miss over a few. But with Instagram, I check all of my DMs. So send me a DM on Instagram if you have some issues with your glide cam or gimbal. Send me videos and pictures of it, and I'll respond to you there. That way, it's a lot easier for me to see what's going on. Um, I have a combination of 24 1.4, 2875 2.8, and the 85 1.8. Is this a good combination for events and low light for the A7 III? Yeah, man. I mean, 85 mil is good. I would invest in something more telephoto as well. That's why I got the 70 to 200. So let's say you're shooting an event and you're far away in the back and you need to shoot somebody saying a speech or something or a toast. It's good to have that range. And plus, with the Sony cameras, you can go into APS-C crop mode, which is a 60% crop. So you have a 70 to 200 lens, increase that by 60%, which is what, 60%? I mean, that's like a 300 mil lens, dude. Over 300 mil lens in APS-C crop mode. So 70 to 200, definitely a lens that you got to consider. Do you have to get the G Master? No, you can get the f4. You can get the G lens, the f4. It's significantly cheaper. All right, I think it's about $1,000 cheaper. So if you don't really care about the 2.8, get the f4. You'll save some money and you'll get that range. Okay, so you can get over 300 mil with APS-C crop mode. So if you want that extra reach, that's how you do it. Thanks for your answers, brother. I admire you a lot. That's why I asked you so many questions. Thanks for taking the time to answer. You're awesome. Thank you so much, man. Thank you. If you ever have any questions, dude, just let me know, man. I'm always online. That's why I say people hit me up on Instagram. I'll answer you probably the same day most of the time. Thank you, bro. Highly appreciated. You're welcome. Jabaro text says, yeah, I use the crop mode with the 85 mil, but sometimes it is not enough. Yeah, so that's when you pull out the 200 mil and then you get the shots that you want. DJ, I wrote an S for the June Crane 3. All right, I answered this early in the live stream. It was a very long answer, but I'll just give you a short answer. Crane 3 lab. Some advice for shooting weddings, please. I have an APS-C camera with 50 mil 1.8, zoom lens, and a zoom lens and wide 2.8. So you're not giving me all of your focal lengths. Let me know what your focal lengths are. Any tips for starting out on YouTube, and how much money can I expect to make to begin with? Okay, so that's a very bad question, and I'll tell you why. You don't start YouTube thinking that you're going to make money. Okay, that's not how I started. I started because of glide cams, and I'll tell you my little story. So when I was first starting to do some video stuff, I was like, damn, my stuff is so shaky. How can I make it look so cinematic and just so clean and just buttery smooth and make it look like the camera's floating everywhere? How can I do that? I went on YouTube and I saw a lot of people using this thing called a glide cam. All right, especially people like Devin Supertramp. He was probably one of the first people that I saw use a glide cam. Another guy who, unfortunately, I don't think he makes YouTube videos anymore. His name is Max Dream Creator. He used a glide cam as well, and his video actually just like was the final nail in the coffin for me. It was like, boom, okay, I gotta get this kind of gimbal. So I got a gimbal. It was a knockoff of the glide cam. I'll be honest, I couldn't afford a glide cam because the glide cam was like $500-600 back then. But I got something that was pretty comparable to a glide cam, and it took me probably 6 hours just to set it up on the first day, just to put it together, because I really didn't understand what was going on. There was no manual that came with it. There was no tutorials online on how to use it. So it took me probably a solid 2 weeks to actually learn how to balance it and how to actually get some decent footage with it. So what I did, I was like, you know what? Instead of having other people suffer like I did, I'm going to make this tutorial online on what I went through to balance a glide cam, and I'm going to put it online. So I put that online with that intention in mind. I had no idea that you can make money on YouTube, nor did I want to make money on YouTube. So I put that video online, okay? First year that it was online, did 500,000 views. I was in shock. 500,000 views, okay? Now it's almost at 700,000 views. And it's the most watched glide cam tutorial on YouTube. It's the most watched. Yeah, the most watched tutorial for glide cams on YouTube. So that was like the biggest wow factor for me. Now, before it hit 500,000 views, I started getting into sliders. Sliders was another big thing for me. And same intention, I was like, okay, there's not a lot of videos on how to operate a slider. I'm going to make a few videos on how to operate a slider. And obviously it took me weeks again to practice on how to use a slider, and I created a tutorial on it. 250,000 views within the first year. What the hell? So what I did was, and how I got these views was, I uploaded niche content. And the same thing with drone videos, okay? When my first drone was the Inspire 1. I got it immediately when it was released, and I started uploading as many videos as I could because I just wanted people to see cool aerial footage. I started getting views on those videos as well. One of my first DJI Inspire videos, I think, got another 250,000 views, and I was like, what the hell? And it was because that, you know, it was niche. A lot of people didn't have that drone, or a lot of people weren't uploading to YouTube. And same thing happened with the Phantom 4. And the same thing happened with my Mavic Pro, my DJI Mavic Pro. Now that I have the Mavic 2 Pro and I started uploading content on that, my views haven't been as high on that drone because a lot of drone videos have been published since 2016. So it's a very how do you say it? Not concentrated, but very polluted. Yeah, it's very rich now, that content. A lot of people are producing drone content. So ever since I made my first like 100 videos, you know, I was able to monetize my channel, and I was able to be like, oh wow, I can actually make some money on this. So I was able to, you know, start slowly paying off my car payments, and then gas, and then so on and so forth. And as my channel grew, I was able to just start making money off YouTube. So it doesn't work with the intention of, oh, I'm going to make money from doing this. It doesn't work like that. No YouTuber who has a successful following started YouTube saying that, oh, I'm going to make money. No, that wasn't their intention. Their intention was, I want to create cool ass content. I want to put it online, and I want people to watch it. There was no dollar signs in their mind when they first started uploading. So that's my best tip for you. What I'm struggling with right now is, oh, I need to make this video so I hopefully get it monetized, and hopefully I can get paid, you know? That's something I've been struggling, you know, months ago, and I just had like a complete reframing of my mind. I was like, you know what? I can't think like that. I can't, because if I do that, if I just do it for the views, then it's just like, what am I doing with my life? So my advice is to just not focus on the stats and just create the content that you love. Be consistent. That's another great tip. Create the content you love, be consistent, and collaborate. Don't focus on the dollar signs right now, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. YouTube is a great way to network, and that's what you should be using it as. YouTube is a tool for you to find ways to make money. YouTube is not that source of income for you. It can find you sources, but it's not that source, if that makes sense. So use YouTube as a way to expose yourself to people. All right, exposure. That's what YouTube is all about, and that's what it should be used as. Not as a money-making machine, but as a way to expose yourself to people. Okay, so I hope that that long answer has helped clarify things. What do you think about the Rode NTG2 with the Zoom H4n? So I use the Rode NTG2 with the Zoom H6. I freaking love that mic. Whenever I get a new boom mic, I test it with the Rode, and the Rode just kills everything. I mean, it's such a good mic. I also have the Komica CVM VP2, which I'm going to sell. I haven't sold it yet, so if you want it, DM me. And I also have the DD S mic 2, which is also a very comparable mic to the NTG2. It's made out of brass, which is very expensive material, and it has slightly warmer, richer sound than the Rode NTG2. It has slightly more noise, but it's richer. So I use it. I'd like to use that mic for like live performances and stuff like that. But when it comes down to just YouTube videos and all that good stuff, I stick to my Rode NTG2, because it's been a workhorse for me for the last 2 or 3 years. So I just use that. The Zoom H6, that thing is, the Zoom H6 is probably the best audio recorder I've ever used. It's incredible. I absolutely love it. So if you want the cleanest audio possible, definitely get a preamp like the Zoom H6, Rode NTG2, $500. You'll get both of those. All right. But yeah, that's what I think. It's always good to have multiple mics though, which is why I have the two back there. Obviously, I'm going to get rid of the Comica. It's also a very good mic. It's just I don't use it. And the Deity, great mic for just those live performances, as I mentioned earlier. You have one of the best, if not the best, tutorials on gimbal shots. I learned a lot from you for always being one on YouTube. Consider having a sub button. I would support you. Thanks so much, man. I really appreciate it. For short real estate clips of properties from the air, is the Mavic 2 Pro really worth trading from the Mavic Pro? Is it worth dropping the Mavic Pro for the 2? I had the original Mavic, and I sold it for the Mavic 2 Pro. And I'll tell you why. The Mavic 2 Pro has that better low light capability. Okay, that's one. Okay, for some of you, you don't even care about that. That's fine. 2, it has almost double the data rate or the bit rate that the Mavic 1 had. Okay, so you get 100 megabits instead of 60, and you notice that difference. You get a lot less noise. Okay, picture clarity, much better. And now we have an adjustable aperture with a wide-inch sensor. So you're gonna get those shots that you've always been really wanting to get that the Mavic 1 really lacked. I thought I was gonna get phenomenal shots with the Mavic 1. I did get good shots, but the quality was just lacking so much, and I was really upset with the camera on the Mavic 1. Mavic 2 Pro, I'm good. I don't think I'll ever upgrade this drone because it gets the shots at the quality that I wanted. So I'm very happy. So yes, definitely worth the upgrade. And plus, you get a ton of new features like Asteroid. You get new shooting modes. You get you get vision sensors all around the drone. So those things are just going to help you get the shots that you really want. Is the Rode blimp necessary? It depends if you're going to be filming in very windy conditions. So if you're using it for interview stuff, no, it's not necessary. It all depends on the conditions that you're shooting. I wanted to review actually a blimp, so hopefully that's still going to happen. Hey, I have a Sony a6300 Sigma 16mm 18-105 and looking for something good for low light as I'm shooting mostly in clubs etc. I'm thinking 18-35 Sigma, want to get zoom lens. 24-70 G Master 2.8, dude. It all depends on your budget. I did some low light shots with this G Master 24-70 2.8. Very good. You are shooting on an a6300, which is a crop sensor camera, so you're not going to get the low light performance of a full frame camera. So you do want to get a lens that has a pretty large aperture. So 2.8 is good, 1.8, 1.4, f2. You know, those are the types of lenses I would be buying for those low light shots. With a full frame camera, you have a little bit more leeway because these cameras, especially the A7S, I still have the Mark I, by the way, they were built for low light. They really were. So you can be using an f4 lens and still get very dark shots that you would normally not get with a crop sensor camera. But in your case, I would definitely invest in like 2.8 lenses, 2 lenses, 1.4, 1.8, those types of things. Have you ever tried a Deity microphones? I watched a lot of reviews about Deity D3 and it looks amazing. Yeah, I have a Deity S Mic 2 back there. And I reviewed it. Very good mic. No. I have a red camera and Canon T lens like the Crane 3. Will I be able to pull focus and zoom by myself with the Crane 3? It depends how large your Canon lenses. So I plan to fully test a line of lenses with red cameras on the Crane 3 Lab at NAB. So I know you can balance them, but it does depend on the lens. So if you're using a prime Canon lens like a 50, for sure. I don't know the range of lenses yet. I have to test them myself. I use my YouTube channel as my portfolio. How do I increase views and etc? How does it work? How do you increase your views on YouTube? Collaborate, man. Find other like-minded people like you and collaborate. End up on their channel, you know, have them end up on your channel. That's one way to do it. Do ads work on YouTube? Ads work if you're selling a product and you want to sell the product. Ads don't work if you want to grow your channel. I've run ads before. They did not perform well, but they perform well when you want to sell something. So scratch ads out of your vocabulary. I would say as long as you're consistent and if you're collaborating and you don't have money in mind when building your YouTube channel, you will succeed. You will get the following you want. It's taken me, well, it's 2019 now. It's taken me 3 years to get to 52,000 subs. Yeah, it's taken me 3 years. So, and it's pretty funny because once you get enough subs, then your views stay pretty consistent overall. They stay pretty consistent. They don't really spike unless you post something that's remarkably like trending on YouTube. I broke the niche for gimbals. Like whenever someone tries to buy a gimbal and they go on YouTube or Google and like, oh, is the Crane 3 Lab good? Is the Ronin S good? What are the best crane settings? I pop up #1. Okay. I used to pop up #1 for glide cams as well. I think I still might, maybe #1 or #2. But when it comes to gimbals, I'm #1. When it came to drones, I was #1 as well. So I don't know where I'm at with drones now because I haven't made a drone video in a long time. But drone videos will be coming back to my channel. But I was #1 for a lot of those topics. So that's how I was able to get, you know, the momentum to my channel, and that's how I'm able to consistently grow, is because through search, people find my videos very easily. So my advice to you is to create something and stick to a topic. Stick to a topic until you come up with a breakthrough in one of your videos. And you'll know what that breakthrough is when you start seeing spikes. I've seen channels with maybe 500 subscribers that get 50,000 views. Okay, it's some videos of theirs hits some sort of, I don't know what it is, but they hit a topic that nobody else is talking about, and then boom, their stats skyrocket. So stay consistent with producing content, and eventually you will create something that people are looking for. Can I use my Atomos Ninja Inferno 7-inch on the Crane 3? Yes, you can. Can I use the 750D with the Crane 3? Yes, you can. Steve Holt says, I sold my Crane 2 because it couldn't fit my anamorphic lens and follow focus. Crane 3 looks like it won't have the rear clearance. Any gimbal that would fit, say, a 70 to 200 follow focus. So I'm in the midst of testing out my G Master 2.8 with the follow focus system. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be testing that within the next 2 weeks. I just haven't had time lately. I've been doing all these tutorials for the Crane 3 Lab. So stay tuned. But if the Crane 2 was able to hold this with an A9 and a cage, I'm pretty confident that the Crane 3 Lab can do that with a follow focus or zoom servo. So stay tuned for that. Is the ZY Play app updated yet for the HD stream of the Weeble? Yes, it is. It is updated. It is all updated. It's updated for the. It's still not perfect with the Crane 3 Lab because the gimbal doesn't even show up on the app yet. So they still got to update it for the Crane 3 Lab. It works with the Crane 3 Lab. It just doesn't show up properly on their app. But we'll talk about that. And they're going to update it again once the Chinese holiday is over. Do you shoot your videos in a vlog profile or no profile at all? What do you mean in vlog profile? Do you mean like picture profile, or what do you mean by that? When I go to buy the Crane 3, do you have the link for the full package with the zoom and follow focus and also extras to mount my Atomos Ninja Inferno? So the one thing you need to mount your Atomos Ninja is a magic arm. That's not included in the master package. So that's something you'll have to buy extra on Amazon. But I can send you the link to the master package, which comes with a ton of accessories. Hopefully you saw my unboxing video of the Crane 3 Lab where I talk about what you get in the master package, because those accessories are pretty cool. Let me see here if I can get it here. Crane 3 Lab master package. Here we go, master package. So here's the link. I'm going to send it over, and you can see exactly what's going to be in that package. So here's the Crane 3 Lab master package. There you go. I mean, S-Log profile, I mean, Cine 4 and ETC. Yeah, so I don't shoot, because my A9 doesn't have picture profiles, I don't shoot in picture profiles. When I had my, when I was constantly shooting with my A7S, I would shoot in S-Log all the time. Yeah, but because I don't have picture profiles on my A9, I don't really have a choice. Okay, this is what I'm dealing with right now. We all know that the A7S Mark III is coming out for NAB. It's happening. Currently, I have two cameras that I use. I have the A9 and I have the original A7S. What do you think I should do? Should I sell my A9 for the A7S Mark III? Should I keep my A9 and sell my A7S Mark I for the A7S Mark III? Or should I just keep all those cameras? What my idea was I can use the A7S III for more of my riskier shots. So like when I'm on my unicycle or something and using a gimbal and tracking somebody, I can use this as like a little crash cam. Because right now the A7S, when the Mark III comes out, this is going to be like $600, I feel like. So I don't even think it's worth for me to sell the original A7S. So what I'm thinking is, should I sell my A9 for the A7S Mark III? They're going to be, you know, I might make a little bit of profit if I sell my A9 for like, I don't know, $3,800 because it's in immaculate condition. But then again, I don't want to lose the features of my A9, especially with the new firmware that's going to be out for it. So I'm going to get that spot-on eye autofocus, and it's going to have like really good autofocus tracking. So I don't know if I want to sell my A9 just yet. I think it's still going to be a beast for what I use it for, and I think I'm just going to add the A7S III to my lineup and just go with the flow. Best gimbal for GH5, Weeble Lab. GH5 is a very light camera. Sell the A7S. A9 is a photography beast if you ever need it. Yeah, so sell the A7S. That's what I'm thinking about, man. I'm still debating if I want to keep it or sell it, because I do shoot. I do want to shoot on like a unicycle or like a Segway sometimes, and in case I do fall. But then again, if I fall, I break my lens, you know? So, yeah. There was also an idea that I wanted to think about. I wanted to use my A7S as like a model cam. So whenever I do like tutorials or something like that, and I want to show how I like to properly rig up a camera, I would use the A7S as that model cam, as like a dummy cam. So I don't know. I think I might. I'm still stuck if I want to sell the A7S or not. So what do you guys think? Let me know. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Which Sony body is all-around body for both photography and video for weddings? A7 III, hands down. Did you hear anything on the S3? I only hear rumors, man. I hear dual SD card slot, larger batteries like the A9, same body as the A9 and A7R3. 4K 60 is happening. We also get rumors of ridiculous frame rates. I think it was like 240 or 580 frames per second, something ridiculous. I have no confirmation of it. I also hear that it's going to have a 24 megapixel sensor. So if that's the case, I don't know. It's 24 megapixel. That's the same as the A9. Will it have the same focus capabilities as the A9? If the A7 III does, then I'm thinking the A7S III will. So, but yeah, so it's like, I don't know. It's just so many rumors, but 4K 60 definitely is happening, and that alone is a pretty big feature for a Sony camera to have. It's a pretty big feature. Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and log off here. I hope you guys enjoyed the live stream. Oh, here we go. We have one more recommendation here. Keep all. You have better use for them. The A9 probably paid itself already, and the monster of a camera A7 Mark III will pay for it soon enough. Exactly. Yeah. But all right, guys. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning into this live stream. Again, stay tuned for next week's live stream. We're going to be doing this every single week. Actually, on the end of February, I will be in Ohio. So if you guys live in Ohio, hit me up. Maybe we can do like some sort of collab or something. But yeah, hit me up on Instagram if you have any questions that you want me to answer ASAP. So here's my Instagram username. So DM me if you have any questions with your gimbals. You know, that's an easy way for me to look at videos or photos of what's going on, and I can easily reply to you right then and there. All right. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'll see you very soon. All right, peace. End stream. All right.